On pipe time. Ask Ribs. If you are down at the river at wait, if you are going down the river at 2 miles per hour and your canoe loses a wheel, how much pancake mix would it take to reshingle your roof? I'm gonna go with 4 gallons. And then, as a follow-up to that, Neural Glitch asks a bonus question. If pancake mix falls in the river, how many bipedal unicorn sharks will it take to open up the Gribbly's parlor portal to hand him a new TV? I don't need a new TV. My TV works just fine. It's entirely functional for playing video games that are 40 years old. 40 years old. God, that's really childhood jarring there. I mean, I guess they're not 40, they're 35 years old. It'll handle 35-year-old video games. I don't know what more you need. Les Brady, Ask Ribs. I hate summer too. What's your preferred season and why? Fall is my preferred season because the light is good. The trees look nice. It's not too hot. I really hate being too hot. In fact, I'm going to turn the fan back on. I was at this baby shower today, and it was just so damn hot. Like, I can't imagine being pregnant right now. I mean, we should have, like, it really should have been like you know that my deal with baby showers is it's too celebratory and not enough honorific. You know, like, this woman she's like procreating. She's putting literally all of her bodily effort into moving the species forward. And we're just like, hey, here's some diapers. You know, here's like a maternity shirt. Like, what? How do you? No, she's literally creating another human being, and it's 97 degrees in the shade. So, how can she even stand that? I don't know. But my wife was pregnant in the winter, and so she was kind of happy about that because it was, I no, there's no way I can continue to talk about this without getting in trouble. Never mind. But I think if you're going to be pregnant, I don't know, but I think winter is a better time. So our friend she's a month out, so she's 8 months pregnant in August. And man, it was a hot day. And of course we can't go inside because of the damn pandemic. Is anybody else out there just really tired of this pandemic? I mean, I assume you're all saying yes. I don't know anyone that's like, yeah, no, let's keep going with the pandemic. Yeah, so I like fall. The trout are pretty in the fall. The light is good. I already said that. Good photos. My best memories are from the fall. My best when the boys and I would all get together and go out in the woods in the middle of the night. It was always in fall. I don't know why. Well, the scary times were always in fall. You guys have just about gotten me drunk enough to tell some of those stories, but we're going to hold off. Les Brady, Ask Ribs, please feel free to paraphrase. That assumes that I actually read these questions ahead of time. I think one of the most interesting aspects of race-related topics we parse on here is the very root notion about our accepted terminology, white and black. And so he goes on to say, our skin color is not white, and white or black. You know, there are many numerous and varied tones between the labels that we use, which goes back to the thing I was saying about the Trinity, which is that you're trying to condense the human experience into words, and that can't happen. Say it how you will. What are your thoughts on the mere semantics of white and black? I wish that there were, well, but that goes back to white privilege. I was going to say I wish that there were like more people who knew their ancestry, but it's hard to do that if you were brought over as a slave. It's hard to know, your ancestry behind, 200-300 years. So, I mean, not that I know mine farther than that, but some people do. Some people can go back 500-600 years in their ancestry, and I think that that is more important than the labels that we give ethnicity. So the specific experience of your ancestors. For example, my ancestors were French Huguenots. I have French ancestry, and they were Huguenots. So everyone's like, "Oh, you've got French ancestry." Yeah, the people that they persecuted and chased out of France, those people were my ancestors. So I imagine that there are many, many nuances to an African American ancestry, just like that. That what seems to be what's the easily assigned role of your ancestors at face value is not necessarily the way that it actually played out. I think a knowledge of history is something lost to all of us, really, but definitely. I hope that going forward in the next 1,000 years, we'll know a hell of a lot more because, I mean, we have the internet, right? So we're all making videos that are never going to go away, even though we made them after drinking lots of vodka. I hope that my great grandchildren can see me getting drunk with you guys and talking about our ancestry. This is your genetic stock, great grandchildren. This is where you come from. And that is our last question of the evening. What do I think about the labels? I mean, in one sense, the labels are accurate, which is that in America, for the longest time, for most of our history in America, you were either a first-class citizen or a second-class citizen. And so there was kind of a binary there between white and black. Maybe one day we will get to a point where, and I think demographic shifts will bring us there more than any political action, where it really we do. Why would you even need to describe someone's skin tone, though? I mean, unless you're like just like picking out someone from a crowd or something. Like, differentiating skin tone and race is tough. It's tough. Yeah. Well, this is something I'm really not qualified to talk about, and certainly don't want to overstep in having any authority on this. So it's likely just a good idea to end the video here. Next week, I have no content lined up. I really like making these analog photography videos if you guys like them, but it's hard. It's difficult to make the videos and actually shoot the photos at the same time. But let me know what you think. If you want to see more of that stuff, I'm happy to talk about like my developing process or whatever you're interested in hearing. Go follow me on Instagram at MaxCooperAVL, and that will kind of show you the output. Well, the thing that these videos don't show is like all the images that I shoot in between, and some of the best images are videos or are images I haven't made a video about. So go check it out over there. It's blowing up. People are liking my work. So that's good, I guess. I'm a little nervous. Getting ready to release a new line of prints. And then I've still got that secret project, which I should probably work on tomorrow, but I'm feeling like I'm going to be hungover. Thank you so much for watching the drunk Sunday evening edition of the Gribley's Folly Sunday Antisocial. Keep the ends out for the ties that bind. Oh, you thought I forgot about you. You thought I wasn't going to put out a Sunday Antisocial. You were wrong. I can just get in under the wire. It'll still be Sunday if I do this all in one take, just like I did last time. It's going to be fine. There will be no hiccups, especially not because I have been drinking. It is Sunday evening, almost 11 o'clock. And and I did the reading. I actually went and researched it, and vodka has fewer headache causing agents, whatever. Vodka is not as headache causing as bourbon. So I got this stuff. It's called Reka. I don't know I don't know how to say that in Icelandish, but it's Icelandic small batch vodka, handcrafted, and it's made from glacial spring water. So like, if we're gonna have global warming, you might as well make nice vodka, right? Distilled with renewable energy, which seems to be like, isn't that putting themselves out of a job? Like, you need the glacial spring water, but if you're using renewable energy, then the ice caps will stop. Anyway, filtered. It's got lava. I love this. Lava rock filtration. Lava rocks. They use lava rocks. Created in Iceland. Yeah, okay, whatever. It tastes like vodka, and I don't really like vodka that much. But it's something to drink, and but it fuels my functioning alcoholism, and it doesn't give me a headache, which is nice because I can't really drink bourbon anymore, and that's very sad for both me and basically the entire bourbon industry. All right, let's get to your questions. This is the Sunday Antisocial Hour. That time each week when I smoke my pipe. Look at this pipe. This is one of my favorite pipes. This is a Stanwell pot. I think it's unbranded though. Yeah, it doesn't actually have the Stanwell cartouche. Grib answers right there. So yeah, all in one take because I got to get this uploaded by midnight. Stanwell pot. And yeah, can I just look at the document, please? No thanks. No thanks. Okay, yeah, we can do that. All right. And in it, I am smoking I am smoking the tobacco of GLPs called Westminster. It's a very fitting tobacco for this pipe. This pipe is a no-nonsense pipe. And it's a no-nonsense tobacco. I gotta wait till the fan oscillates away. Okay. Ah, son of a bitch. Are you kidding me? All right, one take. One take. We gotta do this all in one take. Really? All right. Don't click off. Gotta find some matches. Ah! Aha! We got the matches. Everything's gonna be fine. I went to a baby shower today. And, yeah, it was the best baby shower I've ever been to. When did this whole tradition of like men showing up at the baby shower, when did that start? Because I remember my first baby shower was in like 2011 maybe, and I was invited, and like men show up at the baby shower. What? I really liked that being a female only thing. Whatever, we showed up, they showered us with babies. The babies like dented the roof of my car. Anyway, now I gotta light this bitch with matches. Okay, the fan's gonna oscillate away. Let's oscillate forward, and then I can't be down here without a fan, y'all. Oscillate away. Okay, here we go. Gotta make this count. We're coming back. No. This is what you get. This is what you get when I wait until the last minute to make the Sunday Antisocial. Completely unprofessional. Let the sulfur burn off. Damn it. All right, we're just going to go. We're just going to do this thing. Thomas King. Ask Gribbs. Did I say the spiel? If you have a question for me, leave it in the comments down below with the hashtag AskGribbs. Any question you want. Thomas T. King, ask Gribbs, if the Council of Nicaea was primarily about social control, why were there such massive debates in the following centuries about whether to use the term... I can't say that term. Like, there's no way I can pronounce that term because I think it's in Greek or possibly Hebrew. Nicaea would have been Greek, right? Why was there such a debate about whether to use this term in the centuries that followed? I Googled the term, I had to Google it. So I am not a theologian. I was just raised by one. And the term is a term that encapsulates the Trinity, basically, or at least the oneness of God the Father and Christ. This is what Wikipedia says. I don't know. So why was there such a debate about this term? And then somebody else comes in with the Holy Spirit and tries to reconcile all that, and that's why we have these debates about these terms. And there was such debate about it because everyone was wrong. You want to hear Drunk Gribbs hold forth on this? Here we go. If you have a question that you can debate for hundreds of years, you're asking the wrong question. And I think that the Trinity, I'm gonna break with my Christian brethren on this. There we go. The Trinity is a flawed model. And it comes from a very human misunderstanding of how do we reconcile the divine with humanity, which is the whole point of Christianity. Like, how do you do that, right? And so then we try to come up with terms for doing that. Like, the whole mythos of the religion is based on only God can do that. Only God can reconcile. And so then we're like, yeah, but if we come up with the right word, that will reconcile it all. The model is flawed, and so I don't know what a better model is. I'm not. Do I look like a level 50 shaman or something? I don't know what would be a better idea, but people that get really worked up about the Trinity and the meaning of each part of the Trinity and how they can all be the same thing and yeah, separate things. Just love your neighbor. Just let it go. It's going to be okay. Constantine. The American way to say your name would be Constantine, which is funny coming after the Council of Nicaea question. But anyway, Constantine is how you write it. So I believe I've always just called you by your YouTube handle, Dirty Boots, but I guess you're not using that anymore. Anyway, thanks for sharing this on your channel. This was on the Zeiss Netar video. Thanks for sharing this on your channel. Very interesting video. Ask Gribbs, do you happen to have any thoughts on the Ansco SpeedX, aka the Agfa Isolette folding cameras? Yes. My thoughts are that they are basically the same thing. So there's three major 6x6 folding cameras that are worth owning. One is the Zeiss Netar. Well, actually, there's more than that, but three cameras that are priced at a point where you can actually get something out of them. Like if you go buy a Zeiss Iconta, Super Iconta, the whatever one everyone wants, the BX 1516 or something like that, you're gonna spend like $500 on that. If you're gonna spend $500 on a medium format camera, go get a Bronica or a Mamiya C330 or something like that. Don't get a folding camera. So I feel like the Voigtlander Perkio, the Zeiss Netar, and the Agfa Isolette are probably the three folding cameras worth owning. And they're all pretty much the same. I feel like I haven't owned an Isolette. I've owned a Voigtlander Perkio, and now I own the Netar. And I like the Netar better than I did the Perkio, but the Perkio was a really fine camera too. Really, the difference is in styling. The Netar has the cool key turn thing to advance the film, and the Perkio has a wheel, and the Perkio has a little viewfinder that's not good for much, and the Netar has the pop-up viewfinder that's not good for much. I don't know off the top of my head what the Isolette has, but the main thing about these cameras is you're always going to be using them on a tripod. You're always going to be at f11, and it's kind of like running a mini view camera without the view part, or the movements, or the large format. or the really, really unbeatable sharpness. It's kind of like that, except nothing like that. But you put it on a tripod, and it's a very primitive way of shooting photos, and that's what I like about it. At $100, I wouldn't like it if it were $500. I would not like that. So I think the isolettes are about the same price as the Netars and the Perkiers, which is all about 150 bucks tops if you get a really good one, and you should get a really good one if you want one. Don't mess around with either get a really good one or get one that you're just going to send to a camera tech to have restored. Dan Marino says, thanks for answering my question. I have found that one of the few good things about COVID-19 is that I have been able to listen to and explore a bunch of music that I never listened to before. Would you mind sharing some of your favorite bands, artists, or songs? Taylor Swift. I bought Folklore. I did. I bought the Taylor Swift, the album that she's made in lockdown. I thought it was going to be good. I am a person who doesn't particularly like Taylor Swift, but I'm continually impressed with her and how she markets and comports herself. And that is exactly how I feel. Folklore is a great way to sell a record, and she did that very well. And congratulations to her. But I could not listen to it. I couldn't make it. I made it about 2/3 of the way through, and then I was just like, this is Taylor Swift trying to sound like Lorde, so I just listened to Lorde instead. I might give it another listen. I mean, it was the first listen, but it was really boring. So that's been my lockdown. That, and I really want to get into jazz, but every time I try, I get so pissed off that I have to listen to, like, Wes Montgomery. I listen to Wes Montgomery, and if you're in the right frame of mind, if you've had enough Icelandic vodka, you can say, this is really awesome. If you're not in that frame of mind, you just get annoyed. It's just annoying. In the same way that, like, any sort of extreme form of music is annoying, like death metal would be annoying if you weren't into it. So I've been listening to some Julian Lage, trying to get out of my usual, like, very standard rock and roll genres, but the reason they're standard is because they're good. And jazz isn't good. Somebody recommend, like, some good jazz that's like, I don't want, like, Camptown Races jazz. I want, like, how do I even describe it? Soulful, slow, blues-influenced jazz with some horns, but not all horns, if that makes sense. I'd like to still have a little guitar in there, maybe. Yeah. Miles Davis just doesn't do it for me. Kind of Blue. Sort of Blue. Is that the name of the album? Whatever. Off Blue. It never really gets going. Like, the whole album is... Anyway. All right, we've spent too much time on that. NJ Piper, Ask Ribs. I grew up in a small South Carolina town, that makes two of us, that is around 40% black and observed racism, both direct and systemic, on an almost daily basis. Makes two of us. Do you think most people take issue with the concept of white privilege simply because they've never observed or experienced racism that is saturated in everyday life? I think that most people never stop to consider how things work. Most people just work. They just do the work. They don't think about, why do we do it this way? And yeah, I mean, if you grew up where I grew up, I'll tell you a story. My father died, and so we went back to South Carolina to have his funeral, as per his wishes. And so it was on a weekday that we drove down there. I think the funeral was on a Saturday, whatever. And we were driving down this desolate, road in the middle of nowhere, along which were rows and rows of the most rundown Hollis Brown cabins you've ever seen, set up on concrete blocks. Like a single wide trailer would be luxury. This is where the black folks live down there. I mean, I'm sure there are some that live, in a town or something like that, but there are a lot of people that just live out in the fields. And we were driving down this road at about mail time. The mail truck had gone through, and everybody was coming out of their houses at the same time to get the mail. And when you're waiting for a package and you check the mail a lot, like I do that a lot when I'm waiting for a package. I'll always go check the mail before the mail even runs. But then when you see the mail truck go by, and you go out and you're really excited about getting the mail. This is just my assumption. Those folks were all waiting on some sort of check, some sort of government check or something that got mailed, that everybody knew was coming at the same time. And so we were riding down this highway, and everyone was walking out of their houses to check the mailbox. We were behind the mail truck. And young folks, younger than me, my age, and adults, people who should be in the workforce. But where the hell would they work? It's the kind of poverty that you see in South Carolina, in those places in South Carolina, where it's not just like they're out of work. It's like there is no work. The society has not built a place for these people, and all they've got is whatever the government gives them, and they're way out in the middle of fucking nowhere, and that's their life. Like, that's it. And I'm sure they have, these days they probably have like TV and internet. 10 years ago they might not have. 20 years ago they definitely wouldn't have. And so, you can say like, well, they're free. We all live in this free country, right? But what's the point if this is the opportunity that is afforded to you? This is well, you can go out and make your own. Yeah, okay, yeah, sure. I have done that in my life, and I know how hard it is, starting with everything I had, to go out and make my own opportunity. And I can't imagine coming from a place like that and getting to a point where you can start a business or, I think a lot of people that are like, oh, white privilege doesn't exist. Like, you've never seen that kind of poverty, and which is not to say that there aren't white people living in those conditions. It's true that there are, but especially in that society, it's rare. It's a. We could talk a long time about this, but having grown up in the Deep South, white privilege is just something that you. It is so embedded. It's like what does water taste like? It's that level of, this is so much part of my reality. I don't even see it. I don't even understand it. And it takes. I think it takes being removed from that environment to see it. Like I bet if I had grown up there my entire life and still lived there, it would be a lot harder for me to see that. Of course, that's just kind of making excuses for the people that I still know down there that think white privilege doesn't exist. Anyway, over a pipe, ask Gribbs. Maybe just because of the shit that's happened in this last week, like there are like legal things, there are legal things that And I used to be one of, like, if you're a legalistic person, like, well, we live in a free country, get up off your ass. Worked for me for a long time. Um, and I think that we're all about to be brought to the level where that doesn't work anymore. And I mean, that's what this whole situation is doing, is bringing everyone down to the level of those people that we drove by that day. Um, yeah. Anyway, okay. Um, I hope some of that made sense and that it's not just vodka reasoning. Over a pipe. Ask Ribs. I have a Sony A6100 with a new Sigma 1.8 16mm lens. I'm routing this to my laptop for my videos. I'm recording at 4K, 30 frames per second. Based on your skills in capturing quality images, rather dubious, what are my ideal camera settings for the best quality? What do you think of the quality of my latest videos? What could I do to improve upon it on the camera side of things? Well, we all know that Over a Pipe can't read. So I don't know who he got to type this comment for him, but they were very well spoken. I think that if you use a middle aperture, f5.6, f4 maybe with a 16, you can probably get away with f4, f8. You're going to get pretty much everything in focus. 16 is a very short focal length. For the 6100, which has a crop frame, you're talking about, well, let's see, that's probably a 28 on a 35, or on a 35 millimeter equivalent. So I think that's it's a wide angle, you know. So if you want to get just your face with an out of focus background, that's not the lens to do it. But your videos, you've got your Visco Girl accessories are all out there for everyone to see, which is going to require something like the 16. I think that's a pretty good choice. And I don't know anything about video, which is why I'm still running my channel 5 years on from my phone. So you're asking the wrong guy. But yeah, I mean, I think I use an A5100, so like one generation before yours when I do my high quality videos, and I use a 7 Artisans 25-1.8, I think. So it's a little tighter lens than yours. It's about a 35 millimeter on a full frame, but it's got tremendous bokeh. That's what I'm all about. All right. I seriously, if you want to ask me serious questions about photography, I'm happy to answer. Pro Skipper. Ask Gribbs, have you ever fished old school split cane rods with pipe and tweed jacket? Embrace the old fart look. I never have. I don't have a tweed jacket. A tweed jacket would be really hot this time of year. But I do fish with a pipe. But I've never fished with a cane rod, except for that one time that I tried to, and everything fell apart. I'm not about embracing a look when I'm fishing. I'm very much not trying to be looked at. I'm ugly. I don't want to be looked at when I'm fishing. Jughead, if Iran attacked Turkey from the rear, do you think Greece would help? I don't know. No. Is Greece in a position to help anyone? Didn't they have like 6 or 8 years ago, didn't they have like a complete economic collapse? Do they have a military? I don't know. Somebody educate me on that, because I don't have the... This fan is killing me, y'all. Hang on a second. Stop it. I don't have the expertise on Greece, Turkey, Iran relations to really answer this question, but I kind of think nobody's coming to anybody's aid. That's not going to happen right now. If it does happen, it will be out of a desire for more control, and I don't think Greece really has that desire from Turkey. That desire for Turkey. I don't think Greece wants territory or more influence over Turkey, but I could be wrong. Typing Piper asked several questions. Was Tyler Durden really Jack, or was Jack Tyler Durden? Was Marla Singer really both of them? I don't think she was. I think she was an actual person. It's been a long time. I'm going to go with the straight up interpretation. Tyler Durden is Jack's like split personality, and Marla just gets caught in between. During the zombie apocalypse, what is the one book you keep in your bag in hopes of sharing with a future civilization? So if you have read Lucifer's Hammer, as you should, Typing Piper, as you should, there's a character. It's been a long time since I've read this too. There's a character in Lucifer's Hammer who's like a fat scientist guy with diabetes. And he knows when the comet strikes that he's screwed, right? That he's never going to survive because who will produce his insulin? And so he decides to, he like makes a wager, a gambit, if you will, that the best way to secure insulin for himself will be to find other smart people who know how to make it. And what will he have to trade? Money is now useless. So he's got like this extensive library. He takes all of his books and he seals them up in Mylar bags and he sinks them into his septic tank. And so his barter item, if he ever finds someone in the post-apocalyptic world who can make insulin, his barter item will be, if you keep me alive, I will tell you where this library is. And that becomes sort of the new Library of Alexandria. It's a Larry Niven novel, you know, but I think it's an interesting. Okay, the book that I would keep would be probably like Consumer Reports, I guess. You need to read like the Jeep reviews to know which one would be the best. Let me think about this. I mean, I think like a basic. No, a chemistry textbook. Like a practical chemistry textbook would be your best bet for making everything from gunpowder to like ibuprofen. If you could get one that was like focused on like lab practices, that would be a good bet. Which species will revolt against humans first? Apes, cows, or squirrels? You're leaving out dolphins. But between those, I think that squirrels are non-starter. They don't have the resources, they don't have the intelligence, and they're too small. They lack they lack brain and brawn. Between apes and cows, obviously apes have the intelligence and the brawn, but do they have the motivation? You know, a cow has motivation to hate humanity. I'm going to go with cows. They're stupid, but they're big. And I bet they're fired up right about now. Which species, again from Typing Piper, no wait, that's the same question. Okay. Will we see a real Sharknado in 2020? Yeah, probably. I mean, you know, given the weather events we're seeing so far, like it's not outside the realm of possibility. I could, yeah. I mean, I was going to say no and then offer a more viable option. I don't think there is one. We're definitely going to see fire nados for sure. I mean, if we haven't already. Typing Piper asks Ribs, if we all have African DNA, then how can there be white privilege? See 10 minutes back in this video. Neural glitch. Great answers to some tough questions on my last video. If a water droplet gets stuck at the front end of your pinhole camera, does it inadvertently create a wide angle picture? No. It creates a blurry picture. And it kind of sucks because a lot of these exposures that I'm shooting are 2, 4, 8 minutes long. So you're standing in front of a waterfall for 8 minutes. You're definitely going to get water on the camera, and it's definitely going to be enough to condense and drip into the pinhole. And so you've got to keep sort of blotting it with some sort of absorbent cloth that you somehow keep dry standing in front of the waterfall. Otherwise, yeah, it creates like I mean, all pinhole photos are blurry, but it creates one that's blurry to the point of not being recognizable. And it's a bummer. It's a bummer. So I carry typically I'll carry something to blot the water out of the pinhole. But, the pinhole is like 0.019 millimeters. So if you put like a cotton cloth up against that, are you even getting the moisture out of the pinhole? Like, do you even know? I don't know. That's the joy. That's the joy of analog photography, is not knowing until you get back to your house and develop it. Let me make sure I'm not skipping anybody. Boca to Boynton. Ask Gribbs. Hey, shaman man. It's just shaman. The last syllable of shaman is man. Although I guess there could be Shaw women. I don't know. You would think I would know that given the high level that I've attained. Where can I find the truth? What do I do with it? I don't know that there is. There is truth. Yeah, of course there's truth. I don't know if it can be found, though. I don't know. Again, I think we're asking the wrong questions. So we can find the truth, but can we share it? Can the truth be secondhand? I think it has to be firsthand. I think that whatever it is that you find cannot be communicated to others. So what do you do with it? I guess you just hang on to it. Isn't that enough? Howard, ask Gribbs. Can you help me settle a bet? My inner troll says that it's pronounced procebo, but I say it's placebo. What say you? I'm not sure that I follow this, but placebo with an L. And then, if a messy desk is the sign of a busy person, what does a messy house signify? Married with children, divorced codger with no kids? Disorder outside is an indicator of disorder inside. Anyway, moving on.